Hello, everyone. I just wanted to double check on who John Q is. Hello, John Q. Could you please identify yourself? John Q. John Q, can you please, oh, you're connecting to audio. Thank you very much. Sorry for being a little paranoid. We had an issue recently. Hello, John Q. I can't continue the meeting until you identify yourself.
Looks like they're trying to connect to audio, Becky.
They have been for a while, but given our last experience, I'm not going to continue until he identifies. John Q. John Q, I'm waiting to identify you, and if I can't identify you, I'm going to have to remove you. Eric, do you support that? Eric, you're muted. Eric, please unmute. Eric, can you unmute?
Yes, go. Sorry.
Remove him?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said plenty of time to answer the question.
Sorry about that, but sorry, come back when you can give us, let us know who you are. Okay, I can't remove him.
Uh-oh.
Okay, let me just.
Maybe Melissa can. She's there. She is.
Yeah. Melissa?
Yes.
I'm making you co-host. I have a situation. There's a John Q here who was trying to go put sound on, but wasn't able to. And now I have let him know that if he doesn't identify himself, I have to remove him because of our Zoom bombing we've been having.
Yep.
But I can't remove him.
Oh.
I'm wondering if I made you co-host, if you could try. Nothing happened when I tried to
try making me co-host again, Becky. I only see me. I don't see it as me as co-host.
I have.
Oh, there we go. Okay, it just refreshed. Hold on. Okay, I am removing him.
Did it work?
Yep.
Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
I hate to be like that, but.
Well, it's sometimes you have to be, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, people like that can always come back if they.
Oh yeah.
If they want to, you know, if they will identify themselves, they can get back in. It's not like they're leaving them out permanently.
Yeah, and
only once they identify themselves and make sure
exactly
that they're a person and.
Yeah. No, I think that's good.
Oh, I figured out why it didn't work to remove them. I can do it next time. Okay. There's a second screen that was hidden over I had his change name screen up because I was ready to change his name. Okay.
And Zoom's updating all the time, Becky, and they move things around. So, you know, don't get used to that.
Just keep looking. Okay, Eric, I wanted to let you know Rita is dealing with she's not feeling well, and so she's not here tonight. So
okay, well, that
connected with Melissa and asked her to step in as to chair tonight.
perfect.
Okay. All right. So with all that taken care of, shall we call the meeting to order, Eric?
We shall. So moved or whatever.
Okay. Let's see, the agenda I'm pulling up now. We have currently public comment, Becky. So why don't we head to public comment and follow the agenda? Anyone here have public comment? I see one hand. I see two hands. I saw Michael's first and then Mary Lou. Michael, go ahead.
I actually have a question. Given that Rita's not going to be there, is there anything on the agenda that you guys think you might not be discussing?
Yes, we're gonna pass over the Energy Committee discussion.
Okay.
She has been working on that and wanted to present it, so that's gonna go to the next meeting.
Cool. But everything else will get discussed?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Mary Lou.
Hi, Mary Lou Conca, and I have a question about the agenda. There's an item, I don't know what number it is, but it speaks about an easement and then has the word swap. So my question is, could you please explain in layperson terms exactly what that means to your audience? Because I'm confused. I don't know what it means. Swap, you're going, somebody wants to swap something for something?
I think you have the gist of it. Yeah. Becky, did you want to quickly just give the quick rundown of that sure. Before we get to it? Just quick.
Okay.
Thank you.
So about 7 or 8 years ago, we started dealing with a property that had some salt contamination. And we went through many cycles trying to solve that issue. And one of the cycles was to swap land next door to that property, which is on Leverett Road. And we swapped 3 teeny tiny third acre parcels down at Lake Wyola for 10 acres of Mary Clark property that's on Leverett Road. So that went to the legislature to get permission to do that. It's taken multiple years of working out this whole thing. So that is what we are talking about. The property that town meeting authorized to be swapped for some Coles property to solve a well situation about 6 years ago.
Okay, so what is the advantage to Shutesbury? I know that's another question, but how are Shutesbury residents advantaged by this swap?
Why don't we hold those questions until we hit?
Mary Lou, excuse me. Typically, we don't answer in length. So Melissa, did you want to?
I was just about to say, why don't we wait until we get to that agenda item? If there's any questions that might not be answered in Becky's rundown of our new proposal in front of us. So Mary Lou, if you'll hang on, and it's on for 6:15. Hopefully we'll be able to stay on schedule.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anybody else who has a public comment? Raise hand. Nope. Okay. Becky, let's view the agenda. We wanted to take off the Energy Committee discussion, so we'll take that away. Was there anything we needed to add that popped up?
Just the DOT extension letter.
Okay. Okay, anything else that wasn't anticipated? No? Eric, did you have anything that wasn't anticipated?
I wasn't sure. Well, I just want maybe a quick I guess that'll be in the town administrator's report, a quick update on what's going on in Lake Wyola with the parking lot there and the fisheries and wildlife and all that. I did actually get there, Becky, but I think you'd already gone. I got there late this morning, but I did talk.
From what
did you go?
No one told me about it.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. I will tell you what I know, but when we get to it.
I can report on it.
And
Miriam,
since
Okay,
I
perfect.
was there.
All right, there you go. Well, there you go. Anyway,
Miriam, we'll
perfect.
have you help us with that when we get to it then.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Let's move on to the first agenda, which is discussion with acting chief about staffing and such. Kristen, you're on.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well this evening. So I'm coming to you today to talk about our staffing needs right now. With the unfortunate departure of Officer Johansson, you know, when we have a full-timer on staff, that is equivalent to about 3 part-timers, what the work that a full-timer does. So losing him has really put a dent into our staffing needs and into our coverage that I take such great pride in providing coverage for the town. So there's a couple of things that I am going to ask of the select board this evening in the town this evening. And that is that Officer Taylor Boudry be made a 32 permanent position. So she's a 32 permanent part-time position. She's been working diligently for us. That will also give me a little bit more leeway in getting some coverage. So that's my first request.
Okay. Do we have some discussion? Eric, I know Becky may have some comments too, but Eric, do you have any questions for Kristen?
No, I mean, I suspect it's probably pretty self-explanatory. We just need more people, more hours, and we have a good officer, and we should give those hours to that person. That would be my 2-second take on the deal.
Okay, well, if that's the case, Becky, did you have anything you wanted to add into what Kristen said? Quickly.
I'm very happy that Taylor's really stepping up. She's been very active and responsive and, you know, interacting with the public on a constant basis. I'm very happy that we have someone that can step in for more hours.
Eric, do I hear a motion?
I move that we do what Kristen just said. We make Taylor a 32. You tell me what it is, Kristen.
Yeah, appoint Taylor Boudry to 32-hour part-time position.
Permanent part-time.
Permanent part-time. Okay.
I move that.
Okay, I'll second that. And all in favor? Eric?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're
Kristen,
welcome.
before you continue, I just wanted to talk to Melissa. There's a call-in user. Should we admit and then be?
No, I think we need to have them identify themselves. So
they're not admitted. We can't hear them.
Okay, hold on one moment. Pause for a second. The person calling in, user 1, can you identify yourself?
Oh, I don't see them now.
I do. It went to alphabetical order. Can you identify yourself?
Oh, here they are.
Please. We are unable to hear you, so I'm going to remove you when you. Okay. All right, Becky, I'm going to remove that person.
Hello. Okay.
I just want to say first, congratulations, Taylor. And Becky is so right on that. She's been working just with her whole heart in this department. So we're very happy to move forward with her. So thank you, Taylor.
Thank you.
So that brings me to my second, and that is we still have a need. Bringing Taylor up to have the availability to coverage us a little bit more. We still have a need. As I stated, losing Marcus really put a huge dent into our coverage area. I have an officer that is on with us right now, Zachary Warner. He is an officer with the New Salem Police Department, And we work very closely with the New Salem Police Department. Not many people know this, but Taylor works down in New Salem and also works with Zach down in New Salem. Zach has offered generously to step up and come on to our team as well to help us out with our scheduling needs for however long we might need him or however long we might be able to have him for that. He is an experienced officer. I did send his resume to the select board email. He worked in the town of Leiden as a police officer. He currently works in the New Salem Police Department. I have seen how he works. He has taken some very serious calls. One of the first calls that I ever witnessed that he took, he really impressed upon me his knowledge and his experience, and I was very impressed with him on that. He has generously offered to assist us. We've been in talks about that, and he's on if you have any questions for him.
Okay, hi, welcome, Zach.
Hi, how are you guys?
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Can you give us Kristen did a wonderful introduction, but can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm 26 years old. I have a 4-year-old daughter. After I was in the military, I was a military police officer, so I wanted to carry that over into the civilian side, and I get an enjoyment out of helping people when they're in need. A lot of things that do come in police work, some of them are negative, but I like to think about the positive interactions I have if I can make someone's day a little bit better. So I'm excited to come help out with the Shutesbury Police Department. And like Chief Burgess said, you know, we have a pretty good relationship. I speak to her sometimes. If I have a question, I'll call her for help, and she's always there to help me. And I work with Officer Beaudry maybe a couple times a week, and she helps me out a lot with a lot of things. I'm just hoping I can continue to build that relationship.
We have a really good relationship with the town of New Salem, and this I feel would only fortify that relationship even stronger. I am in constant contact with the New Salem chief. I asked his permission to bring Zachary forward. I am in hopes that you will agree that we could take also Zachary Warner on as a part-time police officer.
Eric, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
This all sounds fine to me. The only question I would have, and then I think we could answer very quickly, is what will this do to the full-time equivalents that the department has had historically? Will we have more police officers, less police? Where do we stand if we do this? That's, I guess, what I'm asking.
Well, Eric, my goal is to, once we get in a better position and we have our feet solid on the ground, once we get through all the requirements of post, because there are a lot, I'll save that for another day because there's quite a bit of information. Once we get through all of that, I want to bring the department back to where it was with the full-time officers and also part-time support as needed. Right now, we are basically filling in slots where we would normally have our full-time officers. So until we can get back to that point, this is sort of a place that we need to, sort of move forward in until we can get in a better position.
Right. So we have less full-time equivalents now than we want to have, basically.
That is correct.
Right. Okay.
We want to have 3 full-time officers in the department with part-time support staff as well. So we are not where we'd like to be or where I'd like to be or where we once were. And I'd like to bring us back to that point. Until we get there, I'm very lucky. I stated this before. I've not really had to try very hard to have someone want to come work here or work for me. As I stated, I had a quick conversation with Zach about our needs here, and he volunteered to step up. So I'd like to get us where we need to be, Eric. Yeah, we're not where we should be.
Okay, that's a good. Thank you for that answer. And I would move that we hire Zach as recommended.
Okay, and I'll second that. I do see a question from the audience. Eric, are you okay if we take the comment?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Mary Lou, go ahead.
Hi, this is a quick question. Where can a resident find the police reports of the work that you know, our officers are doing in town? Where can we find it? You know, like in the Amherst Bulletin, you can read the daily police log, that kind of thing. Where does a Shutesbury person find that?
Go ahead, Kristen.
Hi, Mary Lou, good evening. So I print out the police logs, and then they get uploaded to the website, and you can get them from the website. And I'm not sure where we are. I think there was some difficulty uploading some things. Am I right, Becky?
I'm not sure where we are, but I think I'm due. I don't think I got September's.
Okay, so I'll make sure that we are back up to date, Mary Lou, with what we have uploaded. But traditionally, what I've been doing is printing those out, scanning them, and then they get uploaded to the website.
Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of appointing Zachary to the Shutesbury Police Department?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Great. Thank you so much, Zach, for stepping up and helping. Thank you to the select board for agreeing to this. Really appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you all.
both
Thank
Taylor
you all.
and Zach.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. All right.
So that will definitely help us out. And that was my major concern and needs. As I stated, we're still working on the schedule to try and make sure that we have the coverage we need until we can move forward and create a stronger department. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you for all that work.
Thank you.
Next agenda item is the PFAS update. Becky, you're on.
So not a lot has changed since my last report. The update is that all the people who got an install of a carbon filter by the town have now received a second test through DEP. And for the one family that continues to need water, I've been supplying water from Town Hall, and will continue to do that. The Berkshire bottled water that is PFAS free, unlike some other bottled water. But after that, it should be about 2 more weeks of making sure they have water, and then their test results should come back, and hopefully they will be good to go.
Okay. Good.
So we're getting there.
We're getting.
I guess what we'd say. That's the summation of all this, I guess.
Yeah.
And just as a reminder for those that might be listening, the filters were for those who had the above the acceptable limit of the 20 parts per million, right? Or trillion.
Yeah, 20 parts per trillion. And they also had to be impacted by the fire department. So it's all the folks on the Leverett Road area that did test positive. The folks, unfortunately, that are down farther near Old Orchard we don't know the source of that contamination. The town has not found any connection between town activities down there. So they've had to pay for their own filters in that area, which I know almost all of them have done. So.
All right. Okay, I think that's finished. So we're skipping over the energy, discussion. And we'll now go to the redistricting discussion. Excuse me.
Yeah, and I just put, we put it on the agenda hoping that we would have some positive news to share, but I think the results that have come in that we are aware of now is that in our situation, Shutesbury's situation has not changed. We have been removed from Natalie Blaze, predominantly Franklin County District, Franklin 1, and we are now in Hamden 7.
7, yeah.
Yeah, which is
Belchertown.
Ludlow, Belchertown, Ludlow, Belchertown, Pelham, Shutesbury, New Salem, Wendell, and Shutesbury. So it's an unusual district.
Petersham.
Petersham, right.
Wasn't there another one that was below Belt? Wasn't it Ludlow? No, there was something below.
Yeah, yes, Ludlow.
Ludlow, okay.
That's the first thing I said was Ludlow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're the largest. Ludlow and Belchertown account for, I think, 36,000 residents, and the other 5 towns account for the remaining 4 or 5 towns, all the small towns. So it's going to be a big change for Shutesbury.
I see Michael. Oh, Linda has something. Michael, let me ask Linda first, and then we'll come to you. Mike,
yeah,
Linda.
Excuse me, I just want to interrupt to say that the person who was trying to call in and was removed was Paul Vlosh. She sent an email.
Okay.
Would you like me to
email back and tell him to pop in, and I can change his name?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So if you could just give me a moment.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank him for letting us know.
I think we certainly aren't trying to restrict people from being here, but
no,
if they can't identify themselves, we've had problems. So we have to do what we have to do.
Let us know when you're finished, Linda.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Go ahead, Michael.
I was just going to say, I ended up talking to our future rep, Jake Oliveira, assuming he gets reelected this weekend. You know, I heard from Natalie, who's a good guy. He seems like he's enthusiastic. The only thing I was just going to mention is that somewhere in the near future, it might make sense for the select board to invite him to something, whether it's in person or whatever. Sort of, you know, I was envisioning when Jim McGovern got district, you know, took us over, he sort of did a town by town visit to sort of get a sense of all the new towns. And I think the sooner we can acclimate Jay, it seems like he knows rural issues. He grew up in Ludlow. I was actually surprised that he's actually on the Rural Advisory Committee. So he knows stuff, which was good. I think it's a drag that we got redistricted out, but I just wanted to put it out there for the select board that the sooner we invite and sort of orient him to how special we are, the better.
Thank you, Mike. I think
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it was kind of on all of our thoughts. So thank you.
Discussions have been underway about getting him up for a lunch when all the select board might be available.
Okay, so you said letters on there, Becky. Do we have to sign anything else or no?
No, the select board did write a letter that was downloaded and with all the others that were taken and sent to, what is it, Johnsburger, Greensburg. Anyway, the pro tem of the Senate and the representative. So and our town clerk wrote a very detailed, thoughtful letter trying to figure out all the numbers and what changes could be made. But as Natalie had said early on when she called me, she felt it was a fait accompli, and it was nice that so many people expressed their sadness at losing Natalie, because she has been so incredibly responsive whenever we have an issue. So it's a tough change, but I'm glad, like Michael's already reaching out. I heard from another resident in town who knows Ludlow very well. And he's been reaching out to him, telling him Shutesbury is a special place. And so I think we'll transition.
Yep, I guess we will or won't, right? We will.
Or die.
Right. Okay, and now on to the new proposal on our coal swap from all these years ago.
Okay, so at one of the last meetings in executive session, we had a conversation. The select board made a request about the easement on the property, the Mary Clark parcel owned by Coles, which has been approved by the House and Senate, the legislature. So the only thing that was left hanging, all the other votes had been taken by town meeting, by the legislature, by the select board. There was an easement question, and there had been a request by Coles that they continue to do what they had done for the last couple of forest cuts, was to have the easement go over the highway barn yard. But after more discussion about it, they have decided that just keeping the easement on their currently owned property is the simplest thing to do and the easiest way to move forward for everyone. So they have changed the request to the select board to have the easement only cross their own property, which is what we had asked them if they would do. So I'm coming back with that information and the hope that the select board would approve that change.
Okay. Eric, do you have any other questions? I know this we've talked about multiple times.
No, I know we talked about it last time a lot. I'm in favor. I move that we make that change. Okay.
I will second that. I do see a comment from one of our visitors. So if you're okay with that, Eric, I'll have them speak.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
I just have, was that me, Melissa?
Yes, it was. Yep. I know you can't see, but yes.
Yes, it's Mary Lou again. I just have a quick question. I'm very curious to know, and maybe many people in the audience are as well, is this does this have any relationship to the solar that is there? No, it doesn't? No. Okay. Oh, that's good to know. And again, there's a swap. So the swap is the town is saying that the easement won't go through town land anymore. It will go through her land?
It's currently Cole's property. When the swap is complete, it will be
right.
Town property. And what it is, it's an easement for them to cross over the town property.
To get into the parcels of land to log. That's yes. What you're saying? That's their purpose, yep. Is to use town property so that they can log for their personal profit, and Shutesbury is going to say, okay. Is that it?
Yes.
Thank you.
The reason we are is because we are trading off those few small, tiny parcels down at the lake for this parcel that gives us potential land that if we ever have to dig another well for the highway department area or for any contamination in this area, we will have this parcel. We also inadvertently constructed a shed 8 feet onto this parcel. And so we didn't, now we don't have to tear that building down. We can leave it there and have the use of this additional property that abuts the current highway garage. And the cutting happens about once every 20 years. It hasn't been done in a long time. They might use this access, they might use a different access. But the easement had always been part of the conversation since the time this went to town meeting 8 years ago.
Thank you.
It seems given the contamination issues in that area that are A, the salt, and B, the PFAS situation, I mean, it seems prudent for the town to try to get access to that land. I mean, that's a good idea, I think.
Yep. And Cole's being able to manage their forest appropriately too. So I think it's a win-win situation. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. All in favor of this new proposal, for lack of a better title.
There we go. Stalker eye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Thank you very much.
Becky. You'll let everybody know who needs to know?
I'll call Shane in the morning and let him know it's been approved, and Donna can finally, hopefully, put together the final deeds.
Perfect. Okay, thank you very much. FERCog Radio MOU.
This is a document that just finalizes the agreement for the radios that we already are in possession of. It's the same thing that Walter had reviewed.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to rename you, Paul. Okay, we've renamed you. You're good.
Do you want to tell Paul about the Zoom bombs we had?
Oh, yep.
We're so overly cautious because
So Paul, we've had unfortunately in several meetings we've had some pretty inappropriate and nasty, to put it bluntly, Zoom attendants come in and share things that should not be shared, or bombers. So we are now being overly cautious. So if anyone shows up, we've initiated the waiting room, and anyone shows up that's part of that waiting room that isn't identified, we ask if they identify, and then if they don't, we will remove them for now until we feel comfortable that the Zoom bombings have slowed down or they have moved on to other things. To give you the background story.
And there was another guest that first came in, John Hugh, that never would identify themselves. So we were just on a little bit of alert.
Yep.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can.
That's great.
All right, so I understand your position, but I don't think you can exclude somebody without having cause, and it doesn't sound like that's cause.
We pulled you in, and we pulled the other person in and gave them time to identify themselves. And if there's no one, if they do not identify themselves within a little length of time, we do remove them and do tell them they can come back in if they identify themselves.
So I think I had set John Q at some point in some past meeting I attended. And so that was me, but I had called and it said the meeting was about to start. I got tied up on something else. I came back and it said all I got was a message on my computer because I don't have a camera on there. And all I had was a message on my computer saying that I had been removed from the meeting. So I didn't know that I was being queried on who I was. But again, I don't think it's appropriate merely because somebody doesn't identify themselves. I understand you've had problems. I now know that. I think you need to find another way to deal with it.
Well, I think too, the people who come in through a computer have the option when they log in and to put their name in to the computer. So,
but nothing says that you have to give an actual name.
Well,
right?
You should. You should give an actual name so that we know who you are.
I can see where you might prefer that, but it's a public meeting.
True.
And anybody in real time, anyone could walk in, sit in, listen to your meeting and not identify themselves if they don't cause a problem, right?
In those meetings, we do send around a sign-in sheet.
And people can decline or they can write whatever they like on those. I'm just saying you have the ability to listen in on what's happening in a public meeting without having to be known to all who are present. That's my point.
Or not.
You disagree with that?
I do. I slightly do. I think if you're, at least you can identify yourself as a Shutesbury resident. You know, maybe not your name, but at least Shutesbury resident.
I tried to do that, thinking that was the issue, and I was still locked out, so that wasn't an option. So let me move on to something else. By now, I'm sure you've moved past the agenda items I was interested in. I sent a letter to the police study group, which included 2 select board members. Did you receive that?
That letter has been, yes, received, but that's not the topic that we're on now.
Why is it that you never acknowledged receiving those?
I think that's an issue that Rita's trying to rectify. As chair, she's supposed to be sending out acknowledgements, and she has gotten some of them out. We got her the correct language. It wasn't happening at first, but it is happening now.
Okay,
I'll let you. That we were, you know, with the transition from Melissa had always been doing it, and then when Rita became chair, she wasn't aware that it was part
that
of
I had been doing that. That's right.
Okay, I'll let you move on with your agenda.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the FERCog memorandum.
I think Miriam had something she wanted to say.
Oh, actually. I'm sorry, Miriam. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. I've got a cat all over me, so I'm going to try and talk. I'm getting cat bombed. He does this.
That's more pleasant than what we were experiencing.
I just wanted to piggyback on what Paul was saying, because I have been in meetings and I've chaired meetings where people call in and really struggle around how to unmute themselves. And particularly with callers coming in on their phones, I think it would be best to err on the side of including people until they demonstrate that they're inappropriate, because we've had commissioners on some of the call in and not be able to unmute themselves. So it's sometimes the technology is hard when you're doing it on a phone. So
we should probably talk about parameters at our next meeting for something, you know, just to touch base on those.
But I think the issue with Paul was he was logged in, but he wasn't near the computer, so he didn't hear our requests. Mm-hmm. And we were repeatedly asking him to identify himself for about 2 or 3 minutes, but he wasn't there. So I think it's also some responsibility of the viewer to be there, you know, especially when you're first logging in. Because once they start bombing, it's really hard to stop people. And you've got to strike.
Does the Attorney General's office have a position on? I mean, I can't believe this has not happened in all the meetings that have happened around the state. That there must be is there a policy or that we should be following?
The policy on this is on Zoom issues has not been formalized. It's still a work in progress by the state.
Okay.
So I guess it's up to us to figure out where we strike our balance, you know. Yeah. Okay. So moving back on to FERC. Thank you, Miriam, for your comments. Moving on to FERCog radio MOU amendum.
Okay, so this is a document that FERCog sent out that just codifies everything that Walter read to us way back when we got the radios. We just need to catch up on the paperwork and get the select board to sign off. It acknowledges receipt of all the radio equipment. And it's basically saying that we will pay for all the equipment, which we have already done, and that we further understand how much the reimbursement will be from the town. And it's at this point, we've already satisfied the terms of the agreement, but they need to have it on file. So I would ask that the select board approve, and I'll put in the box for select board chair to sign.
Okay. Eric, do I hear a motion to approve the MOU amendum for the
so moved.
Okay, I'll second that. Do you, any further questions? No. Okay. All those in favor?
Stalker, aye.
McPhee O'Neill, aye.
Thank you very much. I'll have that in the box and see how Rita's feeling, or I guess as acting chair tonight, you could sign it, Melissa.
Okay. When they want it relatively quickly, I imagine, right?
In the next couple of days, yeah.
Okay, so if you want to check with Rita, I am in town tomorrow.
Okay.
So I can swoop up if you need to.
Great, I will check with Rita.
Okay. If she has a preference. So the review of the Cape Way roofing time extension.
Okay, so as you all recall, there was a delay in here. I'm going to share a screen for this.
Okay.
And I apologize, I could not email out the packet ahead because of email trouble. So this is the proposed work order change. All they are saying is they are asking to extend the work completion from the end of September to April 22nd. There's no change to the price of the contract. Everything will be done for the same amount. So it's very straightforward. And it's just acknowledgement that because of the delay in receiving materials, the project could not be completed as per the schedule.
Okay.
They are going to attempt to come back in December, but during Christmas or the holiday vacation, but we don't know if the weather will hold out. So I think the April extension is much better.
I agree. The supply chains are not great right now. So I understand this. Eric, did you have any questions?
No, this all sounds reasonable to me.
Okay.
Should I make a motion?
Yes, please.
All right. I move that we agree to the extension of the time extension for Cape Way roofing,
okay,
as we've been discussing.
Mm-hmm. I'll second that. All in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace, O'Neill, aye. Okay, and now I have to close my screen down a little bit so I can see.
Let me stop sharing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I had my two things set side by side, but I had to make sure I could see your document. All right, so now we're on to town administrator updates.
Okay, so I know that our assessor, Kevin Rudin, has sent off our values to DOR for approval. If they are approved, we will be looking at I believe a November 9th hearing to review the classification hearing to review the tax rate. It appears we don't have final numbers, but we do know that the values have gone from 225 million this year to about 242 million. Wow. So that's a very significant increase that is going to have a very good impact on lowering our tax rate. So as soon as the numbers are certified by DOR, we'll have those calculations for everyone. I just don't want to put out a number if there are any changes to the work that's been done. So that's very exciting news. We have the library has completed their program application for the pilot. And I don't know if you all have seen that. I believe it was sent around on a town announce, or it might be available. I know I received it. I think it was a town announce. So it's very important for people to review it and start to ask more questions as we look forward to the library decisions on site location. We have 2 sites in play behind Town Hall and also lot 032. And that brings me to another issue. Lot 032, we did a lot of licensed site professional work where they went out and did soil bore testings as well as testing the well that Al Warner's Water Resources Committee installed. And all the soil boring tests that were done in the area, everything from the well forward has come back positively. There's no concern for contamination in those areas, which is very good news. We do have an unusual information about the test that we did at the area that we have always referred to as the Air Force Tower site. There's an existing cement pad about 10 feet across that had pipes sticking out of it. And since we had the scientists out there testing soil, we also had them test around the cement pad. We had removed some miscellaneous pieces of metal that were out there as part of the overall cleanup. And when I was there with them while they were testing the soil, between 8 and 15 feet into the soil, the PID reader hit a hot spot. Mm-hmm. The hot spot has been identified at the very minimum 5 to 8 CFAS, I think they're called, and Alacor. So we came in at 100 on the soil reading, which is the very minimum that's out there, but it's still concerning to have any contamination out there. We have proceeded ahead to report to DEP, but in the report that our licensed site professional did from OTO, he mentioned that he went back to discover that it was the Army Corps of Engineers that have the report on the site. It was originally constructed in 1957 and it was leased, the property was leased between 1957 and 1967. And during that time, they had installed a telecommunications tower. They called it a remote site. So all those tales about the owner of the house climbing the tower with binoculars to look for enemy planes during the Korean War proved to be true. And
yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah, that part has been verified, but the unfortunate part is the contamination that was left behind but it's clear that it is a result of the activities that were taking place there. I have contacted the Army Corps of Engineers and asked that they review the project, as they will be, as DEP is saying, they will be listed as a responsible party. Before I do our final report to DEP, we need to hear back and get further information from the Army Corps of Engineers, which we hope to have in a couple of weeks. So that's pretty exciting news, but I think the best piece of news in that is the fact that the responsibility for this will not be ours alone and may not be ours at all. As we all know from what we went through at the fire station, contamination cleanup is very costly.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad to know that we might have financial support on this one.
Is there a plan to clean up, or too early to? Too early.
They have, they have to get out here and assess it and determine what they want to do.
Okay.
Can we clarify what it is? What is the contaminant, or do we know that?
It appears to be gasoline.
Gasoline.
Yeah.
From like a generator running the radio tower?
I can't speak to the cause. It
was just kind of curious thought. That's all.
Yeah, because the generators, I think, are usually diesel.
I don't know.
Well, back in those days, who knows what they were?
Yeah. I don't know. It should. I don't know. I don't know all of what they had out there, but it's odd that it's not from the ground down. It starts at 8 or 9 feet. and is just for that part. So if they had they did have an underground tank, and it's an underground gas tank that was removed. But there's not complete, they don't have the certificates of removal. They just say that it was removed at a specific time. I think in 1993.
That short time ago.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird. I mean, but that is short time ago.
Pretty recent. I was surprised. And they also removed 100 tons of soil from the property, which explains a lot.
Why it's down 8-9 feet, because they removed the top. Yeah.
Well, if you walk that property, it looks like a moonscape in quite a number of areas. It's very unusual, and it, that the soil was stripped off makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of makes those puzzle pieces. Well, keep us updated on that one.
Sure will.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that you would, although I am neglecting, because Eric wanted to add in something to the agenda and I went on to town administrator updates. Do we want to back up and do the parking lot at the lake quickly? That was my fault. I apologize, Eric.
No, we can just a quick report. Miriam, you were there, I believe. Miriam, do you want to do it? I actually did come, but I think I got there late. I was a doctor's appointment.
We were only out there for 20 minutes.
Well, that's exactly when I got there, 10:20. Anyway.
So we had a site visit. It was me, Mark Rivers, Mary David from the Conservation Commission, Doug Cameron from Fish and Wildlife, and somebody else from LWAC whose name I'm blocking on. And so we walked around the parking lot, and Doug kind of gave us sort of his overview of how this might work. So this is a project, if it was approved, where the state Department of Fish and Wildlife would assume responsibility for the parking lot and the maintenance and capital improvements for the parking lot and the boat ramp, in exchange for certain restrictions on the use of the parking lot and boat ramp, and also it being posted on their website as a public access. So that area is tricky for capital improvements because there are wetlands on all sides of that particular parking lot. In fact, I imagine the boat ramp originally wasn't wetland because there's just water that's perennially dribbling down it. And the way it works with the DFW requirements is that there have to be 8 designated parking lots for boaters. 4 of them were for trailers that would be 10 feet by 40 feet. And then 10 of them would be for car top carriers, which would be 10 feet by 20 feet. And they would not be available to the public to park in those particular spots for any non-boating use. So we had a discussion about how possibly parking areas could be designated and preserved for non-boaters. What happens at these sites, and I know this from personal experience because my husband and I have kayaks and we have used that website to go find launch sites around the state, is that on the weekends they get very, very busy and people disregard signage and park wherever they can. And sometimes it's even hard to get in altogether. What Doug said is that they're aware of this as a problem, that at these sites, congestion becomes an issue and compliance with the signage and parking restrictions. And they have a task force with the environmental police that have been addressing it with enforcement orders, going out and basically ticketing and towing people, which he said sort of quells it temporarily, but then requires repeat efforts because, you know, somebody might be dissuaded, but a new person might come in and not be dissuaded. So he sort of described that as possibly being a joint effort between the town police and the state police and the environmental police, but primarily town police being responsible and eyes and ears for those kind of violations. we talked about the fact that there's currently a Community Preservation Act project that was approved at last town meeting for the Conservation Commission to go in and do trail improvements and put up signage and mapped trails, so that we were hoping to attract more hikers and other recreational users for the Southbrook Conservation Area. So, you know, I guess it remains to be seen what parking spaces would be preserved and possibly protected for non-boaters if this were to be approved. And I think we would like to see a more detailed design. So Doug agreed that he would do a kind of a sketch, a rough sketch design of a proposed layout and present it to us come to a Conservation Commission meeting and present it to us. So we could take a look at it. One of the other issues is that maintenance of the road would be a cost share with the town. And any parking areas that were designated for non-boaters would not be maintained by DFW. It would be the town's responsibility to maintain those. And if there were improvements, if we wanted to have improvements in parking and signage, that would be on the town. So, you know, we talked in theory about the idea of possibly maybe a CPA project, a Community Preservation Act project. If we had a particular design and we wanted to have designated parking spots created uphill where the trails begin, away from the boat launch. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Miriam. Eric, did you want to add anything to
No, that
Miriam's
sounds like
rundown?
a very good synopsis of what Mark told me. I ran into Mark. He was leaving as I was coming, but I did talk to him about what happened, and that's what he just said. So I think the end result is that maybe you glossed over a little bit, but one of the ideas is there would be more parking than there is there now, right? But
not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
There might be less parking. A large part of what the existing parking lot would not be available for people who don't have boats.
Right.
So people coming to hike or whatever, or multiple cars coming because one person has a boat, but they're meeting people. Those people wouldn't have access to these parking spots. It would only be for car top carriers and for trailers. So I guess we need to see that. I think that the Conservation Commission, we would have a concern about changing the parking lot over to single use, where right now it's a mixed use parking lot, if it meant that there'd be less opportunity for people to use Southbrook, which we're trying to encourage.
Well, what Mark was saying, I don't want to get into this long discussion, but I think what he was thinking, what he presented it as to me, is that possibly there would be more parking than there is now up above the parking lot.
Well, that's what I was talking about. There is a small flat area at the entrance to the trails. Yes. Maybe two parking spaces could be designated. It's already available. People could park there.
Right.
So it's not creating more parking than
okay. All right.
There's also a risk that people with car top carriers would just go park up there if there weren't spots down in the parking lot. I know from other places around the state where we've gone that in summer and nice weather, you can't get into the parking lots.
Yeah, it seems to me that one of the biggest issues that when we really discuss this is whether or not the fact that this will be on the Fish and Wildlife website is something that will encourage more people to go than we want to be there. That's I think going to be the issue that we're going to have.
The takeaway I got from Doug was that is the case. And that's why they've had to have these task force run enforcement, because the parking lots have become congested.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, more to come, I guess, on that. And Becky, go ahead.
Doug also said he was going to give us an estimate of what it would cost to upgrade our boat launch. Did he bring any numbers regarding that?
No, I don't know.
No, I didn't hear any numbers.
That. But I think maybe that'll come along with this marked up design. But they would be, if they do this project, they would assume the capital costs for improving the parking. He explained what their design idea was for the boat launch, which would be, you know, putting a base of gravel down and then these concrete planks that are chained to each other that go down into the water that kind of hold the gravel in place and keep it from eroding. And there'd need to be improved stormwater controls on both sides because there's a lot of water that's currently just goes down that area. It's a wetland.
That's why there's a lake at the bottom.
That's right. You want it to be wetland around a lake, that's for sure. Yeah, right.
Right. Yep. Okay. All right. So it's something that we definitely want to make sure we keep an eye on and check in. So,
yeah. To see what the design is and then go from there.
Yeah. See what creative ideas they have. Okay. Thank you, Miriam. Becky, I interrupted your town administrator update, so feel free to.
No, I was done. I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We have minutes to do from the 12th of October.
Yes, and the 7th.
And the 7th. Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from October 7th?
So moved.
Okay. I'll second that. Were there any edits or clarifications needed in your opinion, Eric?
No, they look good to me.
They did to me too. So Linda and Becky, thank you for creating such great minutes for us. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's a lot of hard work and I understand.
Yeah, no, they're very useful.
Every time I read them. All in favor of approving the, was it the 7th? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So moved. Oh, I'm sorry. Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. And do I hear a motion for approving the select board minutes from the 12th of October?
So moved.
Okay. Any edits or clarifications needed in your opinion, Eric? I thought they were good.
No, they were fine.
And another big thank you to Linda and Becky. All in favor of approving?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Okay.
There's one last thing.
Last thing.
Extension for the culvert.
Oh, that's right. You said that. I'm sorry. I wrote on the back of my notes. Okay, extension for the culvert. Go for it, Vicki.
I apologize again. It was emailed to me, but I couldn't receive the email. But it went to the select board, I believe.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I'll bring it up.
Melissa, if you could bring it up.
Yep. Give me 1 second. Do you know? Oh, there's so much in here. Do you know?
Tonight.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
When was it? When did it happen?
This afternoon, because when I realized I couldn't share it on my screen, I emailed it.
It was the contract, right? Yeah, these other things are just pings. Okay.
Yeah.
This is from Niche Engineering.
Yep, I found it. So I will share my screen. Give me 1 second to share my screen. Share screen. Right here.
So our current agreement with DOT as provider of the $500,000
can everyone see this?
Bridge grant. Yes.
All right, so this is the extension.
And what we're doing is we're asking that we be given another year to complete this project. So we're asking for it to be extended to the end of December 31st, 2022. The reasons are explained in detail. The National Grid's slowness to act, even when we were pressuring as hard as we could for the last 2 months. I got a email Sunday morning at 7:15 saying that the last piece the environmental piece had been approved for the third time, I think, but it was approved and that they would pass it on to scheduling. So I do anticipate the pole to be moved. We're not letting up the pressure on National Grid until the pole is moved for fear that it won't ever happen. But so it will get moved this fall, but we expect we'll have to talk more with the Concom about moving it into next fall. Because given the weather conditions and the detour condition, we're not able to complete this project.
And also, Becky, was there any supply chain issues? Are we expecting any of that to be occurring?
No, we had conquered all those early on.
No, that's fine.
It was delayed from the middle of August to September with Concom originally, but then it was the National Grid holdup that just sunk us.
Is this definitely delayed then, Becky?
With this letter, yes. Okay. I will have one final conversation with Matt, but we've been talking about inching towards it since last Thursday. Okay. We had hoped that if they did the work by Monday, we might have been able to move forward, but they were still, I still don't know when they're going to do the work.
So we're meeting tomorrow, Thursday night. Was Matt, because they need an extension on the from us on the scheduling.
Yeah, and I think the notice of intent is good for 3 years, right?
The order
of conditions, sorry. So yeah, and I will ask him to touch base with you if you want him to come when when you schedule him on the agenda, or if you're welcome for him to come tomorrow. Just let me know.
It sounds like it isn't urgent right now, but sometime before the schedule expires, I guess he should come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the order was, it's already about a year old, right? When the order was issued.
Mm-hmm. No. I'm not sure what you're saying, but the order
of conditions was issued I think it was before October of last year, was September, right?
No, I think it was January. December, January. Right after, it was like the last meetings that Penny was in December. Okay. But yeah, and then we've had, you've already extended it twice, which has been very helpful, but.
One more time.
One more time.
Yeah, right. Once more with feeling.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to extend the municipal agreement with the Fox Pond Road Culvert project?
So moved.
Okay, I'll second that. And any further questions or discussion? It's unfortunate we have to delay it again, but such as
one question I had: what happens to the signs? What happens to all the signage around town that's up saying detour and all?
They'll be covering them up, but we're in conversation about them removing the word truck and just having it be detour for everyone. And then we're gonna take down a couple, the one on, Jennison Road, that is very it's sending people up Old Wendell Road, and that's not exactly what we had in mind. So there'll be some adjustments, but they'll either cover them up with black plastic again, or we will, and we'll take off the part that I don't think is helpful. Differentiating trucks from other vehicles. I think we want everyone to detour. Okay. That's coming through town, unless they know the roads well enough to take dirt roads.
Okay. All right. Good question, Eric. All in favor?
I think Miriam.
Stalker,
wait a second. Go ahead,
yeah,
Miriam.
No problem.
Yeah, I was just opening up the plans. Just there's no date on the special order of conditions. I'm pretty sure it was September. because I didn't vote on it. I wasn't a commissioner yet. So, and I was appointed in October. So it was either the beginning of October or end of September, what it's worth.
I'll send you what I have.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All in favor of the extension?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. So I go back to seeing everybody. All right, so I think that was it, Becky, on the agenda.
Yep, that's everything.
Okay. Is there anything else? You'll let me know if Rita's gonna swing in and sign that document tomorrow. If not, I'll swing up.
Okay, because there's about 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
The only other thing I know is Mary Ann wrote a letter about from the library just asking when she wants to be on an agenda in the future. That's all. No.
Okay.
I'm sure that's possible.
Becky, can you make sure we work her in with
Yes.
Rita since she's chair? I'll right. Happily voice an opinion, but
yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else? No. Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Oh, sorry, I forgot to second it. I'll second it. Now we'll do the vote. All in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Thank you, everybody.
Great.
All right. Thank you, Melissa, for cheering. This was awesome. Very good.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. We'll see you all next time or later.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll be here.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.